Smith is on the line now. Morning, Sue.
Morning, Nick.
What a splendid animal this horse is. How's he been since?
Came out of his race absolutely superb. He's in great form.
And fifth time lucky. It took a bit of a leap of the imagination, but I spoke to Harvey earlier in the week, and he said he felt that the breathing operation had worked. Were you quite confident of that going in?
Yeah, because he'd been working, quite well at home. He didn't run a bad race up at Kelso. He's had this wind issue sort of throughout his life, really. So, but the form he was in at home here and the ground drying up a little bit has really helped him.
And Richard was talking about Ryan Mania. You are and have always been, very loyal to jockeys who've done great things for you. You teamed up for your Grand National success. How pleasing was it for you, if you like, that he came back to the sport and came home?
Yeah, well, obviously we were using Danny Cook in between, and Danny did a great job for us. And then when Ryan came back onto the scene, we started a little bit by bit, and he asked if he could come up and ride out for us, and it's really gone from there.
And again, we spoke to Brian Cooper, who seems to be, enjoying his riding more now than he ever has before. Do you think the same comments apply to Ryan?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think he spent his time away doing quite a bit of hunting. He's a very good horseman. I think he is really enjoying it. He's had a good few winners this season, and obviously, I think this is the icing on the cake for him so far this season, to go and ride that old lad a winner at Cheltenham.
And it reminded me a little bit, I know they're very different horses, different distances and what have you, but the fact that he came back at an advanced age, Vintage Clouds, it reminded me a bit of that performance of Mr McGoldrick at huge odds of yours the other year, when he just looked completely rejuvenated by the experience. Well,
I suppose, we keep these old horses going perhaps a little bit longer than some people. Mr Hemmings bred this horse, and really a great stalwart of ours, so he keeps going for us. So I'm sure that he'll probably go another season, the form he's in now after the wind operation that he's had.
Are you tempted to go again with him this year?
This season, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, he'll definitely get an entry in the Scottish National. Possibly the Sandown race could also be an option.
Yeah, so it's great, these horses that come back time after time. But to point out, yours and Harvey's long-term involvement, and it's the culmination of lots and lots of hard work in very difficult circumstances this year. So it's a reward for everyone's, work over the course of the last few months.
Yeah, definitely. We've not had a good year, sort of by our standards. I know that we don't have a huge amount of winners, but the weather hasn't been very kind to us up here. We've also been building, quite a team of nice young horses, and also a young team of people which really want to do it, and that makes a big difference to you, and things are just starting to come good now.
You mentioned the purchase of young horses there, something I think we're going to be chatting out a little bit more. How hard is it? You mentioned that Vintage Clouds is a homebred, obviously, from Mr Hemmings. How hard is it to compete with the raw material these days that you feel you need to produce sort of Cheltenham Festival winners of the future?
Well, you've just been speaking to, Henry de Bromhead and people like that. I think there's quite a huge amount of money going into horses. The northern trainers don't seem quite so fortunate in getting that type of horse come to them. There are a lot of good northern trainers, but you've obviously got to have the ammunition to go to war with, haven't you?
You have, and is it harder to get hold of for you? I mean, when you're going to the sales, Sue, do you see fewer horses that you would really want to buy, or are the opportunities there? You just have to pay more for them.
I think the opportunities are there, but you've got to pay more for them. But Harvey, he's bought the majority of all the horses over the years, that have come into the yard, and we've done very well with them. Not huge prices. But obviously it does make a difference if you can really go out and buy a star out of the point-to-point field that's sort of virtually already made or on its way to being made.
And that's it, because you would back yourselves to make these horses, essentially, wouldn't you? To look at the raw materials and think, well, we know enough about horses to be able to take these to the to the next step. If somebody's already essentially filtered the less good ones from the really elite ones, it makes it even harder to get your hands on the ones that might end up being really good.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we've bought a lot of 3-year-olds in the past, and that's a waiting game. Lots of people don't want to sort of go that route now, so you have to spend time. That is why, you know, the horses out of the point-to-point field are so much more popular, but obviously coming out a lot more expensive.
Sue, it's great to talk to you. It was fantastic to see you have another Cheltenham Festival winner. Roll on the Scottish National, and hopefully there'll be a few more great days in Vintage Clouds.
Thank you very much.